Like McDonald's, you think they're into food only? They're into real estate as well. They're into so many things. If you get one good thing right, the money you're making from that place, you can put it into other areas. Then you can have multiple streams of income.
Made for more with Maya. Dare to be more.
Hello and welcome to the Made for More show. My name is Maya and I am your host. My goal is to help you clarify your vision for life, understand why you're on earth, help you develop those areas of giftings, abilities and talents, and help you deploy them to make an impact on planet Earth. You were sent here for a reason. You're not an accident. There is a purpose for your existence. Each week, I'm going to take you on a journey, an inspiring journey, a motivational journey, a journey that helps you see through the lives of others who are walking this path. Men and women from different walks of life, races, ethnicity, who have embraced the call to be more, who are stepping into life courageously and living their dreams. And that is my dream for you. You are made for more. Hello and welcome to the Made for More show. My name is Maya, and my deepest desire is to see you live life to the fullest, guide you to discover your deepest potentials, develop them, and deploy them to be a blessing to your world. We continue our series on career as a platform for impact, influence, and income, and we showcase amazing individuals who have discovered their place in life and are impacting their world in many ways. Today I have another exciting guest with us to share his story. He's someone who is a man of many parts. He's got his hands in politics, in aviation, in development sector, oil and gas, many things. And he has an inspiring story to share with us. He is the CEO of 7-Star Global. 7-Star Global is a group of companies that is made up of 7-Star Global Hangar, the first independent and private aircraft maintenance, repair, and overhaul firm in West and Central Africa. He also runs the 7-Star Global Airlines, the first African premium airline, 7-Star Apparel, a big and fast rising Nigerian fashion outfit, and Buy 7-Star, a proudly Nigerian e-commerce platform for Nigerian entrepreneurs. He's also a philanthropist with thousands of orphans and widows under the direct care of his foundation. He's a recipient of over 100 local and international awards for his personal and career achievements. This is just a little about our guest for today. Join me as I welcome engineer Isaac Balami to join us on the show. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. We look forward to having you for close to a year now.
I'm here. I didn't go anywhere. Close to a year.
Yeah.
You're scaring me.
We look all over the world and today we found you.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So people know you for so many things, but I'd like you to describe yourself. Who is Isaac Balami? In a few words.
Well, Isaac Balami is a young, upcoming entrepreneur who is also learning. Of course, I'm into aviation. I also have passion for leadership, but I'm also still learning. I'm currently trying to see how I can wrap up my my doctorate program in the US in the next 1 year. So I'm somebody who loves to learn and love to put smile on people's faces and just to make impact, no matter how small.
And he truly has made a lot of impact in the world. Let's talk about aviation. How did you get into aviation? That's one sector you're most probably known for. So how did that journey start for you?
For me, aviation, growing up, I used to be in Boys Brigade in my church, in my local church. We used to go for the bush exercises where we camp in the bushes for like 2-3 days, doing a lot of exercise and some kind of activity, to develop us on self-defense and our faith and so on and so forth. And we used to go close to the airport in Maiduguri then. And we always see all those Alberca Airline, Nigerian Airways, they always come and land. And I picked interest then because we always see the aircraft coming to land so close, approaching, to land. And I just used to admire it a lot. Was in Unimed doing my remedials, had issues, left Unimed. Of course, I've always been a student union person. I went again to ABU's area, finished my first year there. When I was, by the second year, I was into SUG. So I led a riot because there was no water in the hostel to shower. They will switch off power in the library when we have exams, and of course I will always not be able to stand injustice. And that was how I got expelled again. And of course ABU's area is just next door to Aviation College Zaria.
Okay.
And when I was passing by, having lost 2 admissions, and I said, and I just heard a voice within me that, once you're passing in the front of Aviation College Zaria, where you have the Paladan gate, you see the aircraft outside and the signboard, Nigerian College of Aviation Technology Zaria, and something told me there that this is where you belong.
Wow.
And, but the tuition fee was quite expensive, so how can you raise millions of naira? My parents did everything possible, and they could even raise 10% of the fee, but they did their best. They sold houses in the village, they landed the village and everything, just to support me, to give me that push. And that was the seed I just needed to start. I was a self-sponsored all through in the aviation college. So I wake up early in the morning, by 6 a.m. By 7, I'm in the cafeteria. By 7:30, I'm done eating my breakfast. By 7:45, I'm seated in class. And it's Monday to Friday every day in the aviation college, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day. And I did that for about 4 years before I graduated. And during this period, I will always, because I was a self-sponsored, I had to support myself to pay my tuition. The school management then allowed me to pay monthly, quarterly. So what I would do then was, after class by 4 p.m., I would take my bike, my Okada, go to PZ, buy about 40 kilos of beef, buy some fresh fish, go to one Lebanese woman, I've actually forgotten her name, my God. I don't even know where she is now, but she will buy about 40 to 100 pieces of bread from her, painting on if we have leftover bread for the previous night. And that's when I started doing the Balwan roasteries, and which is what I was proudly calling McDowda, since people couldn't afford McDonald's and we don't have McDonald's. McDowda. So I just call this a McDowda. You just slice this bread in, put some mayonnaise in there, and I could grill very well, make some barbecue, fish or chicken, put it in there and heat it up, and there comes McDowda. And funny enough, then I was making about 300,000 naira after paying 3 to 4 of my staffs. So that was enough to actually support me, to pay my tuition, to support me. And I kept on moving until Aero Contractors, among 3 of the international companies that gave me scholarship, and I picked Aero Contractors, which was working with the Canadian helicopter company then. And my story changed. And McDowda, the Balwan roasteries now, became purely all the profits, that money that was coming in now. I think I gave it to Professor Shock or Professor Dafog, one of the professors. His wife in ABU Zaria then used to go for outreach to help the poor people in Nigeria and other parts of the country. So she buy clothes, medication. I said, okay, from today, since God has answered my prayers, every income from this business should go to your charity organization. So basically, that's how my story changed. Graduated, came into Lagos, went to the US, got my type course, came back. Within the space of short time, at the age of 25, I was already going to Oceanic Bank then to take about 300 million naira loan to contest to be the president of the aviation sector, quite young. But I saw the need because I just felt that the senior elders in the industry then were a bit silent, and the country, the aviation sector then was quite toxic, whereby you can even remain as a co-pilot. The expatriate people won't even want you to be checked out to become a captain. The aircraft engineers, you can just be stuck in an airline for a whole 10 years. There's no growth. Work, or I would say task, that Nigerians can handle, even a WIAC holder can be trained within 2-3 months to handle. They keep expatriate doing the same job for 10, 20, 30 years, paying them over $10,000 a month, giving them 6 weeks on, 6 weeks off, and then paying for their ticket, giving them accommodation, breakfast, lunch, dinner. But the Nigerians were struggling with $1,000 or $2,000 at max then. So I felt, having gone through Unimate and ABU Zaria, fighting for people, I said this would be an opportunity again to
pull out that thing,
resume back my calling. I can't withstand injustice. I can go sleepless because you are unfair to somebody. Even if I'm not the person at the receiving end, that turns me off, and I cannot rest until I do something about it. So, like joke, got the money, traveled around Nigerian airport, went to the Aviation College Zaria where I was trained, went to the Aviation Ministry and spoke to everybody about my vision for the aviation industry.
At 25?
Yeah. Wow. And funny enough, a lot of people supported me. A lot of people actually supported me. Some were actually hostile on me. The then serving president was from my company and my direct boss. But I felt his first tenure, he did nothing. And I felt, and he once said that he's not interested to be re-elected. So now that I am interested, he said he wants to do. I said, but I've already gone far. So let's all go and run. So on the day of the election, the elders, some senior captains and some senior engineers, and they are mostly still alive today. Engineer Aziz, Engineer Vungmo, and co, Captain, I've forgotten his name again, is it Mackenzie? So we all sat down and they said, okay, you have to step down today. Today is the election. Because if you lose, you'll be fired from aero contractors. You know the implication. I said, if I lose, I will just go back to the village. No problem. And I'm happy I took a bold step. I'm happy they didn't put me under pressure to back out. And I did not just win. I won with 92.5% vote nationwide.
Wow.
Because I printed these flyers, my vision was clear. This is the issue of the industry. These are the challenges, and this is what I intend to do for the industry. And they actually accepted it, and I won. And to the glory of God, within 6 months to 1 year, I think we sent packing over 800 expatriates. We created space for Nigerians. Today, let me just fast track, because if I should give you all the story, it's a long story. Today, as I speak to you now, Asman just gave 7-star 4 aircraft to carry out a C-check, D-check on the aircraft. Asman is trying to come back to operations by the grace of God. And we are starting the first C-check. The only 2 aircraft that Dana is flying on, the MD-83. The C-check, D-check was done by 7-star Global Hangar. The only, I believe, serviceable AW139 that the Nigerian President Tinubu is flying today. We did the C-check, the maintenance for it, during President Buhari, just about 1 year ago. We didn't just do the C-check. For the first time, the manufacturer of the aircraft trusted my company, 7-star Global Hangar. We dismantled the aircraft engine and installed a thermocouple in the engine and coupled it back, saved the government a lot of money, and today the aircraft is flying successfully, flying President Tinubu. We've done over 20 C-check, D-checks for different airlines, and nobody had come back to say we didn't do it properly. And guess what? For 90% of the aircraft, we did it with 100% Nigerians that I fought for almost 16 years ago when I joined the industry. And I'm happy today that these people are now chief engineers, head of operations, head of maintenance, head of workshop, head of quality, head of planning, and they're doing very, very well. And because of my passion for the industry, and I could remember clearly in the National Executive Council of the Aircraft Pilots and Engineers Association, I was so young that only 2 people cannot give birth to me. But I thank God for his wisdom that I didn't have issue with anybody. They gave me my due respect as the president. I worked with about 6 aviation ministers. That opened my eyes. At some point, my association was so influential that we could even tell the president who should become the DG of NCA or who should become the MD of the Federal Airport Authority, and the government listened to us. At some point, we could tell the president that this person needs to be fired, and surprisingly, the person is fired. So we've seen it all. Quite young, of course, I'm still pretty young, but basically, I would say I have seen a lot. I've worked with airline owners. At that level, I was engaging director of maintenance, director of operations, chief pilots, chief engineers, CEOs of airlines, airline owners, founders, and I've done this now from Zaria till date, I've done for 20 years. And so for me, even though I'm still young, there's still so much to learn, there's still so much to achieve, but what actually is in my heart is to see how I can actually give back. Coming into the industry, struggling for about 20 years now, there are things that I wouldn't want people that are behind me to actually go through. When I came into the industry, to take you about 5-10 years to get a type course. Today, people coming from Aviation College Zaria, from Embry-Riddle in America, from Cranfield in UK, from Nigerian Institute of Technology, Air Force University now. They come in just for their on-job training, and before they even finish their on-job training, we give them a manufacturer's course by Boeing, Airbus at no cost that my company then in Aero Control will spend about $50,000 to $100,000 for me to get one of those trainings, and between 5 to 10 years. So we're changing the dynamics. We don't believe that if it took us 10 years to get a type course, the people that are behind us should go through 10 years. So for now, we have engineers in my company like Douglas, so many of them. They have 2-3 aircraft. They have Embraer type course. They have Boeing. Some have Airbus. Some have Sikorsky. Some have Gulfstream. We're training. We also have a training arm in the hangar, and that training arm directly working with the aircraft manufacturers. I'm talking about type course now, European and Nigerian standard. We've done over 1,000 aircraft engineers on type, which is the biggest in Africa, and we're taking it to the next level where we can begin to even offer degrees for them, and allow students to actually get the best training that they can get anywhere in the world.
Okay, I guess you're talking about the Isaac Balami Aeronautics Leadership Program now?
Yeah, I would say the Isaac Balami, it should be proposed. It's important you put proposed because the Federal Executive Council has not announced it yet, so it's not into law until that is done. But for now, it's the proposed Isaac Balami University of Aeronautics and Leadership. The whole idea is to, everything that I've learned in the last 20 years, I want to give it to your son, to your daughter, in a maximum of 5 years.
That's a degree program.
It's a degree program. Then for the ones that already have degree in mechanical, electrical, I can give them an abridged program, so they don't have to go back to basic sciences, basic technical drawing, basic electricals and mechanical, whatever. They just go straight with their degree. They can just leapfrog straight into the core aviation courses, and in 2 years, I can impact on them what I've learned in the last 20 years. We have our Vice Chancellor, a strong person, a professor, a retired Air Vice Marshal also, AVM Jemitola, who is just the immediate past commandant, who is like a VC of the Air Force University here in Kaduna. This man is also, he's even tougher than me, of course, a retired general. This man was able to build an aircraft with a PhD in aerospace. He never went to a pilot school, built an aircraft, put an engine, the propeller, everything, took off and landed in Kaduna Airport. This is the kind of courage, this is the kind of people that are fearless, bold, courageous. We are going to be mentoring children, hopefully once this license has been announced. What is going to distinguish the Isaac Balami University of Aeronautics and Leadership, which is called IBOA, is that we'll give you what you can get from Embry-Riddle in America. We'll give you what you can get from Cranfield. Most of us have been there. We know what the syllabus is all about. But we go a step further. And aside the degrees you will graduate with, we have lecturers that are going to be from Europe, UK, US, Ethiopia, and other parts of the world. And we're trying to see how we can actually give you your degree program. You also graduate with a pilot license. Then you also graduate with a type course from Boeing or Airbus. And you also graduate with a Nigerian license.
Okay.
Even if you are doing aerospace engineering, you take a module on leadership. NUC made it clear that it's 70-30%. So 70% of the courses are NUC curriculum. The other 30% we are bringing it in to make that difference. And that is actually accepted by NUC, and that is the norm currently. So the day your son or daughter is graduating, that child is worth $15,000 anywhere in the world. Monthly salary, anywhere in the world, at the age of 21, 22. And that is what we actually want to achieve. I know.
Let me just cut it.
Yeah.
And what would the school fees be like?
The school fees for now, the school fee, even if you go to the aviation college, I mean, it's not cheap. If you go to Embry-Riddle now, you can't pay less than about $50,000 a year. Most of this money that people pay, because I will give a child breakfast, lunch, dinner, bed space, maximum security to the best of our ability. The campus is going to be in town in Lagos. You know what it costs. Because of lack of security in the country, we can't go to one bush now and go and build school and put people's children there. So we need to be in town. So if they want to fly, they go to the Lagos airport, or they can even drive down to or fly to the airport in Kwara or Oyo, fly for like a month and then come back. That is actually allowed. It's been done. But basically, we're trying to give the best we can. And it's not going to be cheap, but I'm not doing it for profit. The parents will just pay for the toolboxes, the overall, the special kit for aircraft. So I mean, it's for your children. It's not if you know what I mean. Your children will build aircraft, build it with their hands and fly them while they are in school. So we are partnering with a sister company that has been doing that. We take some wire holders from Nigeria to the US. They build aircraft and fly it there. And if work holders can do it, come on, in 5 years, we should have our graduates that are building this and they'll fly them. It's not a rocket science. Most of us school overseas, and there's really nothing serious about it. Most of us graduated with distinction, including myself. We did our courses over there, and we have the best brain. Today, you go to even the Flight Safety International, you go even the International Civil Aviation Organization is being headed by a Nigerian globally. Yes, I think he's from Kwara State. So we're doing a lot. The only issue is that in-house, our leaders don't believe in us. They don't support us. They don't. This is one country, and I say it with all sense of humility and responsibility. This is one country or continent where it's a crime to be ambitious. It's a crime to dream, most especially when your parents are nobodies. In quote, your vision is even provoking people. I went into the UK at Stansted Airport within 3 weeks. I took over one of the second largest aircraft maintenance facility in the entire Europe. In 3 weeks, they saw my passion, they saw my commitment. Now they're calling me to come and take loan in the UK. When am I starting operations? Here in Nigeria, everything we face is blackmail, frustration, hatred, bitterness. But again, if we all get angry and leave this country, who will fix it? This is part of the reason why I don't want to give up. While we are doing some things in Dubai, in the UK, and other part of the world, we'll still keep pushing. Someday, God will bring leaders that will call us and say, hey guys, what you people are doing, even though you're not my biological son, how can we support you? We'll see venture capitalists, bank owners, that instead of keeping trillions of dollars, as we've seen, as announced by CBN, there's money in the bank that they can't even loan out. The money is just there. And we have entrepreneurs. You're saying that why is the dollar? Until you look at issue of production, there is no how that the country can actually move on. So for us, while it is quite frustrating, we have no reason to be in Nigeria. I've been to other parts of the world. The kind of support I receive, I don't even get 10% of the support in my country. I don't. But leaving is not an option. We are still hopeful that one day God will touch the heart of our leaders at state level and at federal level. And someday, if they do that, we will leapfrog. We have every drawing, approvals, and team to even start a made-in-Nigerian aircraft in 18 months. But which bank will you talk to? Which leader can you talk to? Nobody will listen to you. That is the country we're in today. And it's so sad, it's so unfortunate. I bleed every day when I see, because as young as I am, I've had this passion since when I was in my early 20s. It's been there. And 20 years later, I'm going to be 40 years old this year. Nothing has changed. Instead, things have gotten worse. So I asked myself, okay, if God spared my life, I'm going to be 60, 70, whatever very soon. Is this how it's going to be? So if God doesn't do something and really, really bring real leaders that love this continent, we can do a lot. In COVID, the 7-star apparel were doing 100,000 face masks every day. Clearly, the then SGF boss Mustafa was chairing the committee for COVID, and they made it clear that people should produce local face masks. I took 1,000 face masks to each of their offices, all the ministers in the presidency, in all the ministries. I donated free face masks. I see what we are producing in Lagos. Branded those face masks with the ministry. By the time I shared over 100,000 face masks, till COVID ended, no state government, no local government, no, even the COVID-19 team, they are buying face masks from China. They didn't buy from us.
Made for more with Maya. Dare to be more.
Nigerian youths are more productive than youths from China. Nigerian youths, Nigerian workforce, once you train them and you have a quality assurance system in place, they are more productive. Yeah, because you see, when you talk about production, the MD of Dana Airline gave me one aircraft to do C-check for him. He took one to Italy and he gave me one. In 6 weeks, the one that he gave to us was flying. It took him almost 9 months to get the one that he took to Italy back.
Wow.
We've worked there. We've worked in the US, UK, Canada. The work culture is different. Oyibo man will work for 1 hour and smoke for 20 minutes. Nigerians are very, very productive. Do you know that? Because I was paying them per face mask, I think about 20 or 30 naira or so per face mask.
So that was motivation.
What they were producing was unbelievable. Nigerians can create dollar. We can rescue this our naira.
Absolutely.
Guess what? 500 industrial sewing machines in 4 locations, morning and evening shift, 2 shifts. Was in 4 weeks, I got a maquette, put a 10-ton air condition in the airport where I do aircraft seats, put 100 and something machines in each of those tents. One of the tents is still in the airport till date, with the machines in there. They are making uniforms now for the airlines and whatever.
Oh, good.
But I'm telling you, I set that up in 4 weeks during COVID. And these 500 machines, do you know that during COVID we employed 1,000 tailors in 4 weeks? And the weakest link, because it's per production, right? The weakest and slowest tailor was making about 120,000 naira a month. Today, can the federal government pay 120,000 naira as minimum wage? These people don't even have WAEC. A 22-year-old boy was the fastest. His salary was 200 and something thousand naira a month. I was so excited that I was even feeding them on site because COVID, there was no food in the airport to buy. And yet, the same government that is shouting local content did not patronize us. The same government did not encourage us. Only I think the Federal Airport Authority bought from us about 30,000 pieces.
Who were these uniforms for?
I was talking about face masks now.
Okay, yeah.
Then. For now, we are just making them just for random, people like that. But you see, basically, what I'm just trying to let you understand is that we can be so productive. The challenge we're having is that as a country, we're not ready. You import food items, go to Tinkan Island, containers coming into Nigeria every day, it goes back empty. Highest deforestation, we export charcoal, killing your own forests. So you see, this has to stop. And the only way this can stop is if we have leaders that will say, oh, I'm a governor of, let's say, Sokoto. I heard about this young guy who is doing exploits. And you take that guy as a project.
Made for more with Maya. Dare to be more.
You would agree with me that our guest today is a very, very passionate person, very passionate about his job, his field of endeavor, and Nigeria. as a country, Africa as a continent. I'd like to ask you, can you share with us some of your greatest, maybe three of your greatest role models on the journey of life, career, three, who have shaped you into who you are today? I mean, the conviction is coming from deep within. I'm sure you'd have had people who spoke into your life, who guided just three of them.
Funny enough, my role models in this industry, I can mention one person who is not an aviator, but he has invested in aviation.
Okay.
Uncle Thomas Eto, the founder and the group chairman of TAC Continental, formerly chairman of Unity Bank. This man, I never knew him from Adam. He heard about me struggling in my business, and he called me and he spoke to me, encouraged me, told me his story, and that changed my life. That is one of the things that has put me at this level today in terms of being fearless, being bold, and never giving up. Because he met me at a point of my life where I was about to give up. It was a tough time for me. So Uncle Thomas Eto, I would say, yes, one of my greatest mentors that I've met. In the industry, funny enough, there are people that have also supported me, people like Benedict Adeleka, former DG of the Civil Aviation Authority, Captain Roy Elegudu, my former boss in Aero Contractors, and now currently the MD of Aviation Airline, and Kamilu, also the head of AMCON in Aviation Airline. These are people that I believe they've at some point spoken to me. There are a lot of people, but these are people. But there's this my uncle called Uncle Daniel Richards and Auntie Doris Yaro. These people also, they've chosen not to give up on me. But I can tell you that for me, I am not a religious person, but I'm very, very spiritual. So for me, my biggest mentor is still Jesus Christ. At some point, for me, I just keep looking up to Jesus. That is just it.
I'd like to ask, how did you go from being just a pilot, said it's began with Aero Contractors, to setting up the 7-star global hangar? You know, how was the journey? At what point did you decide I'm done working for someone? I should go do something. How did that transition happen?
For me, so you see, it wasn't even about starting my own.
Okay.
I'm not somebody who, something must not be my own before I will focus on it. Okay. In Aero Contractors, at that young age, 25, 26 years old, by the time I was 26, Mommy Ibru, a great woman, the former owner of Oceanic Bank, and of course, still the legacy shareholders of Aero Contractors, she met with me and she saw my passion and she drew me close to her, even put me on the board of Aero Contractors, made me to start attending board meetings in Aero Contractors, encouraged me to focus on the Aero's aircraft maintenance facility, which I drove the process and got the first client in and everything when I was there. But when AMCON took over Aero, because Oceanic Bank went down, Aero was struggling. When AMCON came in now, AMCONs are not the visionaries of Aero Contractors. AMCON didn't really understand the vision. Of course, mistakes were made, things went wrong. Aero was under receivership, but I just couldn't function anymore. So I just felt it is time to move on. And I could remember when I was a pilot national president, I meet with airline owners, want to advise them, because I'm somebody who has worked with so many ministers, somebody who interact with all the CEOs of all the airlines, somebody who meets other aviation leaders in other aviation conferences across the world. Sometimes I might be young, but I have so much knowledge and experience and passion for my industry. I'll go talk to people, sir, this is your airline, this is my advice. And they won't even listen. Today, all the people that I try to advise, about 3 airline owners told me same thing within 7 days. And that's what pushed me finally. Today, if you look at the average lifespan of an airline today in this country, is about 10 years. Go and check. Any airline that has existed, after 10 years, you have crisis. If there's no crisis, they are gone. So they are currently struggling. Go and check. It's because, you see, the variables are there. You miss one, it will affect the other one. So we just went in. So we started with the aircraft maintenance first of all, and we've gone into the airline operations now. The helicopter, private jet. We're just starting small. And then now also tying the aircraft maintenance down to the university to train people. And hopefully we'll get the right partners in the future to do that which God has laid in our heart. For now, we are just taking it one step at a time.
Absolutely. I'd like to ask, you also began the Isaac Balami Foundation. So what propelled you to start that?
No, so you see, the Isaac Balami Foundation for me, when I was 11 years old in Timber Shade, Maiduguri, Borno State, after my primary school, getting ready to go to JSS1, I don't know if it's still called child labor, but I worked for 9 months. And I saved about 1,200 naira to support my parents' effort to go to the school of my choice.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to go at that age to go to the school that other people were going to, or where my siblings were going to go. So I said, this is the school I want to go, but it was quite expensive. So for every holiday, I spend, if it is not farming season, like now this is January now, there's no farming going on, I'll either go to the bush and bring down 2 trees and make logs of wood. The trailer will come and pack them. I sell them. I make enough money. Or we help people to. This is the time when I just go around to people's homes and say, please, do you have laundry? Wow. So I'll take people's laundry from morning. By evening, I'm done. They will bring heap of laundry for me. And when I'm done, I get a lot of money. 300 naira, 400 naira, 200 naira, and that was a lot of money then. When it is rainy season, I used to spend even 4 weeks in the bush. We don't go back home. When we take like 10 hectares of land, 4 or 5 young boys, we move a drum of water there with gari. Sugar was a luxury. Kulikuli was cake. So we just buy gari and salt. If we're lucky, we have some money, we can buy some kulikuli in a bowl and go with it. And we'll feed on it for 4 weeks. That's what we eat. Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
11.
No. This is when I was now growing now. Okay, good. Yes, when I now because because you were actually asking what pushed me into the foundation, right? So I used to stand by the roadside in Baga Road in Borno, hoping that somebody will pick because we'll stand with our shovel, our digger, or our hoe. So they'll come and pack. Please, we need 20 laborers. They still do it now on this here in Abuja. If you are going from Wuse to that Zone 4 area going towards Life Camp, you see those men that stand by the roadside. I was once like that, and that's why I shared one of my birthdays with them. Took the whole cow there. We sat down, we discussed, and I actually encouraged them that I used to be like them. But they need to also evolve. You must know when, because you can't do that kind of hard labor to when you are 50, 60 years old. You must be dynamic, you must change, So basically going through all that in my life, now I went to the aviation college. The main push was I was struggling. I told you I was self-sponsored, but I wasn't having enough time to study. Because in aviation college, there's no parking space in the air. So if you write any exam, your pass mark is 75 over 100. If some lecturers will even say if you do 70 over 100, which is still an A in a normal university, there will be negative marking, which means if they give you 100 questions and you fail 10, you didn't score 90, you score 80. Because if you fail 10, they will subtract 10 from your mark because there's no parking space in the air. So that kind of level of study and commitment, I told God, if you can help me to get scholarship so that I can sit down and study my book, say till I die, half of my income will go to the less privileged. Within 7 days, my prayers were answered. And I, as a student then, my school fees was not just paid. What I spent in 3 years was refunded back to me. And that's why I could afford to give them a business to an orphanage as well. But most importantly, I kept up to agreement with God. So I started earning dollars as my salary every month then as a student when I got that scholarship. So I started sharing that money. That's when I started the Isaac Balami Foundation, which is about 19 years ago now. And today, after this number of years, I can say now realize that even the 50% is even too much for me. So I switch it. So I give out 90% now. Wow. And I live on 10%, which is more than enough. My wife, she struggled initially, but she now appreciates it and she actually enjoys it because she has also seen that we lack nothing. for one small car to drive. Sometimes people buy me the cars. Sometimes people buy a house and give me to live in for free. Sometimes, so somehow, I have been able to survive. And so this is what led to, because it's my story, from that age of 11, rising, up to the aviation college, the kind of job. I was a bus conductor. I used to evacuate sockaway shit manually.
Wow.
Not now that you take a tanker and suck it and go and dispose it somewhere. Before, you dig a 6-foot hole, 6 feet wide, width and breadth, and then you take bucket, you evacuate it manually. I did that to pay my school fees. Done bus conductor. I've slept in the bush, farming. We used to call it Noman Kudi, Barema. Anybody who is from the northeast knows what I'm actually talking about. Till today, if you look at my hand, the blisters of 20-something years ago is still there. The marks are still there because I did real labor. Breaking stones. I did all those things. So for me, that is why today, if you go to, even here in Abuja, you go to one of our orphanage, you see that even the classroom where we prepared for the student, there's air conditioning in it. The house where they live, I put air condition. And I think in Abuja here, I'm supporting over 200 children here in Abuja and other part of the country. And it is believed that with our projection, by my 40th birthday this year, there should be up to 1,000. So basically, this is what actually inspired me. We're training those children, giving them the best. Most of them will have the privilege to become pilots, to become aeronautical engineers, to attend this university for free. And they'll become great leaders, hopefully, and they will give back to the society as well.
It's a truly amazing story. And I think one of the things we get to learn from this is that it doesn't matter where you are today, if you have a vision and you hold on to it and you work hard. He's emphasized the benefit of hard work. No good thing comes easy. There's always a price to pay. But if you are focused and choose to give it your best at every stage of life, it can only get better. I'd like to ask you, what's your typical, people will say, okay, you've come from that, thank God you've cruised through all of that. But then what's your typical day like? Having to manage a group of companies and, you just wake up and lounge. What's your typical day like?
Usually when I wake up in the morning, because of the activities and the first email and messages you see from different companies, different staffs, the orphanage, this one is sick, that one is in the hospital, this one is whatever, that one is this one is this. I usually have a slow start in the morning. I'm somebody who sleeps basically 3-4 a.m. every day. Wake up in the morning around 9. I can wake up earlier if I have something to do early in the morning. But since I work for myself, I don't have to wake up 6-7 a.m. So I can wake up around 9 o'clock. So at least I get that basic 6 hours of sleep. Sometimes 5 hours only, sometimes only 4 hours. But during weekends, I try to catch up and recover, sleep for like 10 hours or sleep for like 7 hours just to recover, But if I have an early morning flight, of course, I'll wake up by 5 a.m. That is standard, but I don't fly early every day. My normal day starts from 11-12. And most times, if I'm working, I can be in the office till 9-10 p.m., 11 in the night. Of course, I'm also studying now, doing my doctorate program and a second master's, and it's quite demanding. So most times in the night, I'm replying emails or I'm studying, doing my coursework, learning. Sometimes also listening to messages or keeping in touch with family and friends. So basically, I love golf. I've come to love golf now. I wish I have more time, but if I do have more time, I can be a great player. But I think I'm just playing for fun now. I'm not a bad player, but I think I can do better if I have more time. So that is just it. Whenever I'm depressed or happy or not happy, I think spending time with family or calling family helps. For my orphanage, those children are great. Sometimes if you can't just be there, the kind of energy they dissipate is just enough to give you another long life. So that is just it. So just normal. But I think my joy is that God has given me the ability to have strong men and women working with me. My management team are so dependable. So once you have a structure and people understand the vision, they will run with it. Sometimes we struggle because sometimes you, as the visionary, you have to carry out some tasks yourself, most especially at the startup level. You can't be sending your CEO to go and talk to your bank CEO that you want money. You can't be sending somebody who is below you as a CEO and owner to go and meet another CEO and owner that you want their business. So most times it's quite demanding. Almost everywhere. I can be in the UK, and now we've expanded into the UK now. As I'm in the UK, they want me in Nigeria, but I have a team that have tried to make life very, very easy for me. If my phone goes off now for a whole week, nothing goes bad. Everything will be fine. Yes.
So you talked about running a PhD and then a master's. I want to ask, I mean, if you're doing so well, why did you choose to go back to school?
You see, one thing I found out is I just realized that the day you stop learning, that is the day you start dying. In my PhD program now, I think we're about 18 in my class globally. It's in California. I have my colleagues from different parts of the world. I've done so many modules on global finance. I never used to know much about finance because I'm an engineer. My core is aeronautics. Today, I have a clear understanding of finance. When I did my master's, it was not even in aviation. It was in fraud and risk management. Today, it has helped me to manage my business better, to look at risk from a different perspective, to also identify fraud in my business on time, and that has helped me to block leakages. My PhD program now is in global business and leadership. It has changed the way when I did my module on leadership. Trust me, I learned so much that till today I'm in touch with my professor from India. She even recommended about 7 books that I must buy. I ordered those books and I'm reading them. That's changed the way I see things. Today, if you see President Tinubu struggling with the economy or our CBN, I know why they're actually struggling. Before, I never used to know. I would just complain as an ordinary citizen, but I see things differently now. I'm given an opportunity to help any business, any sector. As a doctor, as a doctoral student, I see things differently. The ability to do a proper research and come up with solution. I never used to have it. So if I don't go into those programs, I can't get those things. My second master's is in international commercial law. I've learned so much about international corporate governance, business law, international law for sales of goods. So when you see our crude oil, all the drama happening, I have a different perspective now. I've studied globally. How is Saudi Aramco? How are they selling their own oil? International trade. How did China? I've looked at all the. I've also done things like entrepreneurship and small business management. So I never used to have those knowledge. So if I didn't go into a PhD program, I would never have learned those things. So it helped me to manage my business better. When I did my staff retreat, where all my supervisors and my management team and my directors came, I was one of the speakers because now I think they didn't pay me, but I I spoke as one of the resource persons, and I spoke about the vision we were able to reshape. And I never knew that as a business owner, you can be humble enough to allow your staff to share in your vision and to recreate the brand. As a doctoral student now, I see things differently. For 3 days, I sat down with my directors, my supervisors, head of cleaners, head of workshop, everybody. We sat down and said, "This is the vision I had. Can we fine tune it?" And for 3 days, we redefined the vision, and we have restructured it. In fact, you see ideas coming in from different departments. Today, our vision is not just to ensure aircraft accessibility across Africa. We are now global. We're in UK now. We're entering Dubai. We're going to the US in the next maybe 2 or 3 years. Most importantly, the PhD has given me that flexibility to be open-minded, to accept people's input. So now we manage air moving assets. It means that we can sit down tomorrow with Uber and say, "You guys want to do air taxis? We're expert in aircraft maintenance. We understand the air regulation internationally and locally. So can we take over Africa for you? Can we ensure that in the future?" Because we are looking into the future. So, and that is because of my exposure as a doctoral student, and that has helped me to manage people better and to also tap into people's wisdom and knowledge better, thereby building a better brand.
Absolutely. I have just a few more questions to go. What I'd like to know, your business has grown so far. You've been able to pull investors, pull resources to do things you had to do per time. What are some lessons you have learned or things that have helped you pull the right investors into your business? If you're speaking to the young person who owns a business today and is about to get in, looking for partnership, looking for ways to raise money, what would you advise them to do?
You see, if you are in, even in Europe or America, it's not easy to start business. The only difference is that if you have clarity in your vision and it's something that can work, in the West, you get support. In Nigeria, you can have the best idea.
It could be in agriculture, it could be in health sector, and the whole world knows that there's a demand there. You do a realistic, conservative cash flow that you know is bankable, but the bank will tell you you should come with a collateral. That is one. Now, even when you provide the collateral as a startup, they tell you that they want to see your 6-month annual returns and everything, your financial statements for 3 years. So the bank, aside the fact that they actually give money, the Nigerian banks or the African banks are not in the business of selling your asset to recover back the money if you default. Okay. So the major concern is your ability to pay back. That's the major concern. So as an entrepreneur, what I've seen is, if you want a 1 billion naira loan, Nigerian bank will not give you, even if you have the collateral. As a startup, they will not give it to you, even if you have the best idea, because they'll say your cash flow cannot support it. So my advice is this: if your aim is to run a 1 billion naira business, at least if you're somebody who is dreaming 1 billion, then it means that you must have family and friends that can raise you 50 million. Get the 50 million first, just about 5%, right? Start something small in that field. Make sure every inflow, receivables, expenditure goes through a particular account. Build your credit history. When you do that, in even 6 months, that's your 50 million naira must have done a turnover of about 200 to 300 million naira. In a year, you can go to a bank and say, this is what I've done in this number of years, this month, these are my achievements. By the time they go through your cash flow, they look at your SWOT analysis, they can now say, okay, we can give you 70% of 1 billion. So most times young people just want to jump into something, but there's no trace, there's no evidence that they can make something out of it. So that consistency is key. So for every young person out there, start something. Like McDonald's, you think they're into food only? They're into real estate as well. They're into so many things. If you get one good thing right, the money you're making from that place, you can put it into other areas. Then you can have multiple streams of income. But if you don't build one good thing that you are known with, like now you said, Balami, you are known for aviation, and then maybe leadership, governance, having been pilot president, aircraft engineers president for 8 years, Arewa president. I founded so many platforms. So you can see that I also have interest in leadership. So you can see that that passion has been there. So if you want to check it, you cannot just come. You have never been a class prefect, class monitor. You've never been a head boy or a head girl. You've never led even your estate where you live. You were never secretary. You were never chairman of your community. And you just appear from nowhere and say you want to become this. It's not possible. There must be evidence. So look at that, your strength. Work on it, build it, and you will be greater.
Amazing. Just before we go, how do you balance work and family life?
I think it's about communication. Whenever I have an opportunity, if I'm with family, if I need to switch off my phone, I'll switch off my phone. If I'm with them, I'm actually with them. So they know they have me for the whole week or for the whole month. If I'm not there, I must make sure I talk to them every day. I must make sure I keep track on my children. I follow up on my son and my daughter, their schoolworks, assignments. I might not be in the country where they are, but I have contact of their teachers, their football coach, and I ask them, how is the character? Is he being a naughty boy? Is he a good boy? Is she a good girl? And most times, because they know that I care about, they open up to me, and if there are issues with the children, they open up. For my wife, I pity her. Sometimes I would say, you just married the wrongest guy, because every woman wants her husband to just be there 247, no matter what it is. Unfortunately, she's sharing me with the world. She's sharing me with everybody. So I think, but it's good to, it is the way you lay your bed that you actually sleep on it. There are men today that they genuinely have something important to do. Let's say they're in Lagos State, maybe their house is in Ogun State. There's something important genuinely to do in Lagos State, but they can't even, they must go back home even if it is by 1 a.m. because their wife will give them tough time. I think it's the way they lay their bed. When I was in courtship, I told her, this is who I am. I love people. I want to live in a 77 bedroom with all my children. I want to be able to come into my house and there is no place, the rooms are filled up with people and I'm jumping people in the parlor to go and find my way to the room to just go and sleep. I love people. So are you sure you can cope with that? This is even before I even got her engaged. So you must define things. It is the way you lay your bed that you sleep on it. You cannot give a woman a false hope, even when you are dating. If you know that you are not somebody who can pick her up in school every day and drop her, don't start it. By the time you are now dating, every day she wants to go to Mr. Biggs, you go and drop her. She's going to church. Oh, sweetheart, I'm going to go and pick her in church. And then after wedding, you stop it. It's a big problem. The way you lay your bed is the way you sleep on it. You have to be consistent. You have to be realistic. There's no, marriage is not a bed of roses. There are challenges every day. You must get to a point, like I was talking to my wife, was it when we were just joking. I say, you now, I have entered one chance, Abi, because you know that I cannot marry another woman again, because I cannot, you are just doing shagara anyhow. Before you know, she's laughing. That fight don't end with that, You find the way, you have to just keep on moving. It's not easy. There will be quarrels, there will be attack and counter-attack. Because your wife doesn't care whether you are the CEO of whatever you are, or whether you are the president of Nigeria. She just knows that you are her boy at home. You are her firstborn. So she will talk to you. If you forget easily, you go to office, you go home and you expect too much of But again, a wise woman that also knows what she's doing, she make you feel like a king, and then you also make her feel like a queen. So it takes time. So for me, family for me, we are learning every day with my children, with my wife. We are friends. All of us are all friends. My son advises me. He's 11 now. If he calls, and that's my last. If he calls me now, he want to know how are you doing? Are you safe where you are? He want to be a man. He's taking charge. Daddy, please don't just try and go home on time. Be careful. I was told that I saw on news that they are now kidnapping. They are seeing everything. They know what's happening, even though they are not here. So the point is that for family, it's just communication. If you like, I tell my friends that your wife that is in your house now, if you like, divorce her, go to your village, go and carry the one that don't even have wife, you think she is Olodo, pick her. In 5 years' time, she'll be worse than your wife. You must look inward, sometimes accept and admit your weaknesses, and by so doing, you'll be fine. So for me, today we are happy, tomorrow we are quarreling. I try to also enjoy the quarrel. So, but we are moving on, and there's no sign of divorce. We are going to go through it together. That
yes,
is
sir. Together forever.
Yes.
Together forever.
Yes.
And I'm sure even if she began with you, this is not the time she wants to jump.
No, she knows. She just said that she has entered one chance. I said, I have also entered one chance. So we'll just keep managing each other like that. So we are all managers now.
Absolutely. It's been an amazing conversation with my guest, Engineer Isaac Balami. Like I said, man of so many parts. But in course of the interview, we've had cause to feel his passion, to see his heart for people, his heart for the aviation industry, and his plans for the future. Also, the Isaac Balami Foundation, and so many lessons to learn from his life. His work ethics, his diligence through life that has brought him to where he is today. And I want to say, like we always say, find your passion, make it count. You are made for more. There's so much within you. You just have to discover, develop them, and deploy them to make an impact. He began someday at 20. We saw his story from 11, when he was at 11, as a teenager, 25, and we see he's almost 40, right? Or 40, yes. But you see, there's a track record. So begin somewhere, start small, and the sky can only be your starting point. Yes. Any final words for you, for the young person who's listening to you out there?
Well, final words as a Nigerian, My beloved Nigeria, I love her so much. Guys, we can't give up. Everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. Everything is not moving on fine. There's so much hunger. I watched a video where a woman slumped in Lagos, I don't know where, with a baby on her back. She might have injured that child. She said she had not eaten food for a whole 4 days. I was actually touched. Please, no matter how tough things are for you, we have to support each other to get over this phase of our nation. We must show love for each other. We must actually support each other. If it's bread that you give somebody, just 1,000 naira bread, please do. This is not time to ignore people. Please. Of course, it's good to save for yourself, minimum 6 months, we know that. But don't ignore people, because somebody just called me some days ago and said he's under emergency. I couldn't pick his call. I just felt led to send him 10,000 naira. I sent him 10,000 naira and I called him later and he said, Balami, if that man did not come in, I would have died. Wow. He was very sick and he couldn't treat common malaria for 3 days. It entered malaria plus. He couldn't buy anti-malaria. He couldn't do nothing. He couldn't buy food. He said to treat malaria, there was no food. There was no malaria drugs. And this is somebody that I know that used to be so hardworking. He said everything is at his shop. He couldn't pay rent for the past 6 months. They've sealed his shop with his goods inside. He has lost everything. He doesn't know where to start from. And now he can't even treat malaria. So that 10,000 naira saved his life. Malaria can kill. So we must be there for each other, talk to people, support each other, and try and stay away from crime, despite what it is. I believe that a time will come when our leaders will do what they need to do. But for now, we can't give up. Without hope, we cannot cope. So I pray that God will give us hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Isaac Balami. Thank you for making our time to be with us today.
You're welcome.
And for sharing your story to inspire our viewers. It's a Made for More show, and my name is Maya. Keep a date with us, same time next week. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Never forget, you are made for more.
Made for more with Maya. Dare to be more.